We had some really interesting themes surfacing yesterday, and I think these were consistent throughout the presentations. There were 4 that I found particularly compelling because they came up over and over again. One, and we heard it from Johnson & Johnson, and we heard it from Four Seasons and from others, marketing organizations really are evolving into thought leadership centers for their companies. They're becoming R&D hubs, especially as the multi-screen environment becomes more complex, in a way too complex for individual business units to be able to navigate on their own. So I think the increasing, not authority, but leadership, and especially thought leadership and practice leadership of marketing organizations was a very, very important and interesting theme. Another theme that surfaced, and we've actually been hearing it throughout the week elsewhere in Internet Week, is the tension between the push for customization in marketing solutions, especially creative solutions, customization and fragmentation that's implied. The tension between customization and fragmentation on the one hand and standards and scale on the other hand. There is I think a reasonable amount of dismay on the part of marketers and agencies around the push, especially by newer digital companies in in screen environments of different sorts to kind of try to create their own standards. And the marketing organizations are kind of pushing back and saying, we don't have the money and we don't have the organizational capacity to kind of appoint a vice president just for you. While at the same time, the marketers and the agencies don't want to be left out of a hot new forum for themselves. And this is particularly true in the social space, the social arena we're seeing, where the question of how do you scale social solutions is a very, very big and important one. So that was another theme from yesterday, the tension between custom and fragmentation versus standards and scale. Another really interesting theme with a lot of great information, both qualitative and quantitative, was really about the rise of the multitasking consumer. I think of this man or this woman as the postmodern consumer. This is because I spent way too much time in literature and philosophy courses, perhaps, but what you're also seeing and finding in various multi-screen, multi-platform environments is that the same individuals can be different individuals behind different screens. So we're seeing individuals act differently, for example, based on the number of screens they use to multitask. We saw that very powerfully in the work that IAB and Ipsos presented yesterday around the multi-screen consumer. I think we're going to have more of that today. But we also had these conversations again with Four Seasons, J&J, collegehumor.com, just the way people receive things differently, perceive them differently, and react differently behind different screens, even though it's ostensibly the same human being who's doing it. And then I think the fourth theme that I found very, very compelling yesterday is the expanding definitions of creativity and the new opportunities for creativity that are presenting themselves across these different environments. I think one of the presentations, or two of the presentations that were big wows yesterday were College Humors, which got the audience laughing a lot. And Punch, I think, got everybody kind of sitting back and saying, wow, they're doing some really interesting things, kind of native to tablet environments that we haven't seen before, that facilitate a kind of programming creativity at scale that we haven't really noticed before. So that seems to be pretty big. That new native concepts of two-way storytelling emerging in different ways, in different screens, and in some ways through some kind of content management, CMS systems at scale. So some very exciting stuff yesterday. We expect equivalently exciting presentations and themes today, the second day of IAB Innovation Days and Internet Week. We'll be hearing from Vivo, from BuzzFeed, a very special, and I can't wait, live version of Slate's Political Gab Fest. For those of you who were here yesterday, you know I exercise to this in the morning. It relieves my pain, and now I get to have my pain relieved live on stage. It's wonderful.